The crystalline walls of the Galactic Assembly Hall sparkled with 1,000 colors as light from the nearby star filtered through its massive dome. The hall was enormous, built to hold representatives from hundreds of different worlds. Today, it held only 20 delegates, but their voices echoed through the space like thunder. Haiyan Wu sat quietly at the human delegation table, his hands folded on the smooth surface before him. Next to him, Dae-Yoon reviewed data on her tablet, her expression calm despite the increasing hostility in the room. They had come to Viridian Prime with hope. They had come to join the Galactic Military Coalition. Instead, they were being laughed at. Ambassador Vreth of the Chitauri Hive clicked his mandibles together in what passed for laughter among his kind. His insectoid body was covered in gleaming black chitin, and his multiple eyes glittered with amusement. He stood at his podium, waving one of his 4 arms dismissively at the human representatives. Humanity wishes to join our coalition. Vreth's voice buzzed through the translation device. These soft creatures from a backwater world? They barely have faster than light travel. Their ships are primitive. Their weapons are crude. And they claim to be Deathworlders? He clicked his mandibles again, and several other delegates joined in the laughter. High Counselor Marak ruffled his golden feathers and stood at his own podium. The avian was tall and proud, his species having conquered 3 star systems through military might alone. I have reviewed Earth's classification. Yes, it is technically a death world, but barely. They have oceans, they say. Dangerous oceans. His beak opened in what might have been a smile. My homeworld has seas of liquid metal heated to temperatures that would vaporize these humans instantly. The creatures that swim in our seas have hides that can deflect plasma fire. And Earth worries about ... water? Diplomat Urvix emerged partially from his water tank, his translucent body rippling with bioluminescent patterns. His species came from the Deep Reach, a water world with pressures that could crush starship hulls. Their oceans reached depths of merely 11 kilometers, Urvix bubbled. My species evolved at depths 3 times that, in waters so acidic they would dissolve human flesh in seconds. Their dangerous seas are swimming pools for children. Dae-Yoon's jaw tightened slightly, but she said nothing. Haiyan Wu placed a gentle hand on her arm. Not yet. The mockery continued for another 10 minutes. Each delegate seemed eager to prove that their homeworld was more dangerous, their species more impressive, their credentials more worthy. They spoke of predators that could tear through steel with their claws, of atmospheric conditions that would boil human blood, of radiation levels that would kill a human in heartbeats. Finally, High Counselor Marak addressed the humans directly. Perhaps you should return to Earth and develop your civilization for another 1,000 years. Come back when you have something to offer beyond your enthusiasm. The chamber filled with the various sounds of alien laughter. Clicking, chirping, bubbling, and sounds that had no human equivalent. Haiyan Wu stood slowly. His movement was calm, unhurried, and something about it made the laughter die down. He was not a large man, not by human standards, and certainly not compared to the massive aliens around him. But he had been a marine biologist before becoming a diplomat, and he had spent years studying creatures that most humans feared. He knew how to recognize predators. He also knew how to recognize prey. May I speak? Haiyan Wu asked politely. Marak gestured with one wing. By all means, human. Defend your application if you wish. Thank you, High Counselor. Haiyan Wu walked to the center of the chamber, where a holographic display system waited. I have listened to all of you describe your homeworlds. Impressive, truly. Metal seas, crushing depths, toxic atmospheres. Your species adapted to these conditions and thrived. This is admirable. Vreth clicked impatiently. But I think you misunderstand what makes a death world dangerous. Haiyan Wu said. You focus on environmental conditions. Temperature, pressure, toxicity. These are important, yes, but they are predictable, constant. A creature that evolves in boiling seas will have heat resistance. A creature in crushing depths will have pressure resistance. Evolution is logical. He activated the holographic display. An image of Earth appeared, slowly rotating. Blue oceans covered most of the surface. Earth's danger is not in its environment alone. Earth's danger is in its life. Urvix bubbled skeptically. You claim your life forms are more dangerous than ours? Preposterous. Hyan Wu smiled slightly. Tell me, delegates, have any of you heard of sharks? Silence fell across the chamber. The aliens looked at each other, confusion rippling through their ranks. Vreth checked his database quickly. Sharks. A classification of cartilaginous fish from Earth. Primitive aquatic predators. What of them? Primitive, Hyan Wu repeated. Yes, that is accurate. Sharks are primitive. He manipulated the holographic controls, and the image changed. Now a great white shark swam through the air above their heads, rendered in perfect detail by the hologram. Some delegates leaned forward with interest. Others seemed unimpressed. Dayun stood and joined Hyan Wu at the center. Before my colleague explains sharks, she said, her voice carrying clearly through the chamber, I want to establish something. Every species here has described their homeworld's dangers. You have all explained why your worlds are harsh. But I have a question. She looked around at each delegate. How many of you voluntarily enter your most dangerous environments? How many of you swim in your metal seas for recreation? How many of you dive into your crushing depths for fun? The aliens shifted uncomfortably. No one answered. Humans do, Dayun said simply. We swim in oceans we know contain sharks. We surf. We dive. We sail. We do this knowing what lives beneath the surface. And we do it anyway. She nodded to Hyan Wu. Tell them about sharks. Hyan Wu turned back to the hologram, and his expression changed. The diplomatic pleasantness faded, replaced by something else. Something that looked almost like pride mixed with respect. Sharks, he began, have existed for 450 million years. He let that number hang in the air for a moment. Several aliens checked their translation devices, as if the number must be wrong. Marok's feathers stood up slightly. That is, older than most civilizations in the known galaxy. Yes, Hyan Wu agreed. Sharks existed before trees, before flying insects, before the first creatures crawled onto land. They have survived 5 mass extinction events on Earth, events that killed 70 to 95% of all life on the planet. Sharks survived them all. The hologram shifted, showing a timeline that stretched back hundreds of millions of years. The aliens stared at it. Vreth clicked nervously. Survival is admirable, but longevity does not equal danger. You are correct, Hyan Wu said. So let me tell you what makes sharks dangerous. Let me explain why humans respect them. And then, Ambassador Vreth, let me explain why humans swim with them anyway. The chamber was completely silent now. Every eye, every sensor, every form of alien attention was focused on the human standing in the center of the room. Hyan Wu smiled, and it was not a friendly expression. It was the smile of someone who knew a secret. A terrible, fascinating secret. Let me tell you, he said softly, about evolutionary perfection. The hologram expanded until it filled half the chamber. The great white shark swam through the air in perfect detail, every movement captured and displayed. Hyan Wu walked around it slowly, like a teacher giving a lesson. The aliens watched, their initial amusement fading into curiosity. 450 million years, Hyan Wu repeated. To put this in perspective, your species, Ambassador Vreth, have records going back 60,000 years. High Counselor Marok, Your civilization is 120,000 years old, respected and ancient by galactic standards. He gestured to the shark. Sharks were apex predators when your ancestors were still learning to use fire. They were hunting, killing, and thriving when your worlds were lifeless rocks. The shark hologram shifted, showing different species. A hammerhead with its distinctive head shape, a tiger shark with its striped pattern, a bull shark, thick and muscular, each one rendered in perfect detail. There are over 500 species of sharks, Haiyan Wu continued. They range in size from 20 centimeters to 18 meters. They live in every ocean on Earth, from shallow coastal waters to depths of 3,000 meters. They survive in tropical warmth and Arctic cold. They are, quite simply, one of the most successful predator designs in Earth's history. Dai-Yun activated another display panel. Scientific data began scrolling next to the shark images. "Let me tell you about their senses," she said. "Sharks can smell blood in the water at concentrations as low as 1 part per million. That means 1 drop of blood in an Olympic swimming pool. From several kilometers away, Urvix's bioluminescence flickered with interest. Impressive olfactory capability. That is just the beginning, Haiyan Wu said. He zoomed in on the shark's head. Sharks have something called electroreception, organs called ampullae of Lorenzini. These organs detect electrical fields in the water. Every living creature produces a bioelectrical field. Your heartbeat, your muscle movements, even your thoughts create tiny electrical signals. He looked directly at Vreth. Sharks can sense these fields from several meters away. They can detect your heartbeat before they see you. They know when you are afraid, because fear changes your heart rate. The insectoid delegate shifted uncomfortably. His mandibles clicked once, softly. They have another sense, Dai-Yun added. The lateral line. A system of organs that runs along their body and detects vibrations in water. Movement, pressure changes, the struggle of injured prey. All of this information flows to the shark's brain constantly. They build a complete picture of their environment, using senses most species do not possess. Haiyan Wu manipulated the hologram again. Now it showed a close-up of shark skin. Their skin is covered in structures called dermal denticles. They look like tiny teeth, because that is what they are. Millions of microscopic teeth covering the entire body. This serves 2 purposes. First, it reduces drag in the water, making sharks incredibly efficient swimmers. Second, it makes their skin as rough as sandpaper. Touching a shark incorrectly can tear human skin. And the actual teeth? Marak asked, his voice lacking its earlier mockery. The hologram shifted to show a shark's mouth. Row after row of triangular teeth, each one serrated and curved. Sharks have multiple rows of teeth, Haiyan Wu explained. When a tooth breaks or falls out, another moves forward to replace it. A single shark can go through 30,000 teeth in its lifetime. The teeth are not designed to chew. They are designed to saw and tear. He zoomed in on a single tooth. The serrations were clearly visible, like a steak knife. Great white shark teeth can be 10 centimeters long. They are sharp enough to cut through muscle and bone with minimal effort. The bite force of a great white is approximately 18,000 newtons. Enough to bite through a steel cable. Vreth checked his database again. Our security doors require 20,000 newtons to breach. You are saying this animal could almost bite through our doors? A great white could, yes, Haiyan Wu confirmed. But they are not the strongest biters among sharks. That honor belongs to extinct species. Megalodon, for instance, had a bite force exceeding 180,000 newtons. Fortunately, they died out 2 to 3 million years ago. He paused. Probably? Urvix bubbled. You are uncertain if these megalodons still exist? The ocean covers 70% of Earth's surface. Dayun said. We have only explored about 5% of it thoroughly. Every year, we discover new species. Sometimes we find evidence of creatures we thought were extinct. So yes, probably extinct. But the ocean keeps secrets. Haiyan Wu returned to the main display. Now let me tell you about their hunting strategy. Sharks are what humans call apex predators. They sit at the top of the food chain. Nothing hunts them. They hunt everything else. The hologram changed to show a hunting scenario. A seal swam near the surface of the water. Below, invisible in the darkness, a great white shark waited. Sharks are ambush predators, Haiyan Wu narrated. They study their prey. They watch feeding patterns, swimming routes, behavior. When they attack, it is not random. It is calculated. The hologram played the scene. The shark accelerated from below, its powerful tail propelling it upward at tremendous speed. It hit the seal from beneath with such force that both shark and seal launched into the air, completely clear of the water. The seal did not survive. That is called breaching, Haiyan Wu said. The shark accelerates to 40 kilometers per hour underwater, then uses its momentum to become airborne. 3 tons of predator flying through the air. The impact force alone is often enough to kill or stun the prey. Several delegates were leaning forward now, their attention completely focused on the display. The mockery had vanished. In its place was something else. Respect, perhaps, or the beginning of understanding. Different species have different hunting methods, Dayun explained. Tiger sharks are generalist predators. They eat fish, birds, turtles, other sharks, dolphins, and anything else they can catch. Their stomachs are incredibly resistant to damage. Humans have found metal objects, license plates, and even explosives in tiger shark stomachs. They swallow first and digest later. Hammerhead sharks use their wide head as a sensory array, Haiyan Wu continued. The hologram showed a hammerhead hunting a stingray. Their electroreceptors are spread across their entire head, giving them a wider detection range. When they find prey buried in sand, they pin it to the ocean floor with their head and eat it. Bull sharks, Dayun said, and her voice carried a particular weight, are perhaps the most dangerous to humans. Not because they are the largest or strongest, but because of where they hunt. The hologram showed a map of rivers and coastal areas. Red dots marked attack locations. Bull sharks can survive in freshwater. They swim up rivers, sometimes hundreds of kilometers inland. Humans have been attacked in rivers, far from the ocean, because a bull shark decided to explore. Orvix's water tank bubbled nervously. They leave their natural habitat to hunt? They are curious, Haiyan Wu said. Intelligent, adaptable, and curious. This makes them unpredictable. And unpredictability is more dangerous than any environmental condition. He changed the hologram again. This time it showed a different kind of shark, sleeker and darker. The oceanic whiteup shark. Sailors used to call them sea dogs because they would follow ships for days or weeks, waiting. If anyone fell overboard, the oceanic whiteups would be there within minutes. During World War II, when the ship USS Indianapolis sank, nearly 900 men entered the water. Many of them were killed by oceanic whiteups before rescue arrived. The chamber was silent, except for the soft hum of the holographic projectors. Merrick finally spoke, his voice thoughtful. These creatures are formidable predators. I acknowledge this. But surely, with your technology, humans have eliminated them from your coastal areas? Made your waters safe? Haiyan Wu looked at the avian delegate for a long moment. Then he smiled. It was not a happy smile. High Counselor, we protect the sharks. There are laws against killing them. Some species are endangered, and we work to preserve them. And despite this, despite knowing what they are and what they can do, humans swim in the ocean every day, We surf at dawn and dusk, which are prime shark feeding times. We dive in waters where great whites hunt. We sail through areas where bull sharks patrol. Why? Freth's question was almost a whisper. Because, Dayun said, stepping forward, we are Deathworlders. And Deathworlders do not run from danger. We understand it, respect it, and master it. Sharks taught us this lesson 450 million years ago, and we learned it well. Haiyan Wu gestured to the still-swimming holographic shark. You wanted to know what makes Earth dangerous? It is not the temperature, or the pressure, or the chemistry. It is this. It is the fact that something this perfect, this efficient, this deadly has been hunting in our oceans since before your species existed. And humans looked at them and said, let us go swimming. The hologram faded slowly, leaving only the crystalline walls and the stunned silence of the Galactic Assembly Hall. The silence in the chamber stretched for several long seconds. Then Merrick shifted on his perch, his golden feathers rippling with what might have been discomfort. You have explained their biology well, the avian said carefully. But biology is one thing. Combat effectiveness is another. My species has warriors who can tear through reinforced armor. The Chitauri hive mind can coordinate attacks with perfect precision. Surely these sharks, impressive as they are, lack true tactical capability? Haiyan Wu exchanged a glance with Dayun. She nodded slightly. He turned back to the holographic controls, and his fingers moved across them with practiced ease. High Counselor, you asked about tactical capability. Let me show you how sharks hunt. The hologram sprang to life again, but this time it filled the entire chamber. The aliens found themselves seemingly underwater, surrounded by blue ocean. Light filtered down from above, and small fish swam past in schools. It was peaceful, almost beautiful. This is footage from human researchers, Haiyan Wu explained. Real footage, not a simulation. The location is near Guadalupe Island, off the coast of Mexico, a known great white shark hunting ground. In the hologram, a seal swam near the surface. It moved quickly, diving and surfacing, hunting for fish. The seal seemed unaware of any danger. Below, perhaps 30 meters down, a dark shape moved through the water. The shark was enormous, at least 5 meters long, and it moved with terrible purpose. Watch the approach, Dayun said, her voice taking on the tone of a military instructor. The shark positions itself below the prey. Sunlight from above makes it difficult for the seal to see down. The shark's dark coloring blends with the deep water. This is called countershading, a natural camouflage that makes sharks nearly invisible from above or below. The shark in the hologram began to swim upward, angling toward the seal. Its movements were smooth, efficient. No wasted energy. The great white is calculating distance, speed, and angle, Haiyan Wu continued. Its brain is processing information from multiple sensory organs. Smell, electromagnetic fields, vibrations, vision. All of this data tells the shark exactly where the seal is, how fast it is moving, and where it will be in the next few seconds. Suddenly, the shark accelerated. Its tail moved in powerful strokes, and the massive body shot upward like a missile. The speed was incredible. In less than 2 seconds, the shark closed 30 meters and struck the seal from below with devastating force. The impact launched both animals into the air. The seal had no chance. The shark's jaws closed around it, and when they hit the water again, the seal was already dead. The shark shook its head violently, a movement designed to tear flesh and cause maximum damage. Several delegates made sounds of shock or surprise. Thalix, a reptilian warrior from the Scaled Dominion, leaned forward with intense interest. His species prided themselves on their combat prowess, and he recognized efficiency when he saw it. The acceleration rate, he said slowly. from stationary to full attack speed in under 3 seconds. The precision of the strike. This is military-grade ambush doctrine. Yes, the Yun confirmed. And this is not learned behavior. This is instinct. Sharks are born knowing how to hunt. No training required. Every great white that has ever lived has used variations of this technique. Haiyan Wu changed the hologram. Now it showed a different scene. Multiple sharks circling something in the water. This is a whale carcass, he explained. When a whale dies and sinks or floats, sharks come from kilometers away. But they do not attack randomly. Watch. The sharks in the hologram moved in a pattern. They circled, they approached, they retreated. Smaller sharks stayed at the outer edge of the group. Larger sharks moved closer to the carcass. There was order to it, a hierarchy being established without any apparent communication. They are assessing each other, Haiyan Wu said. Size, health, aggression level. Determining who feeds first. This happens without a hive mind, without vocal communication. Just observation and instinct. When a shark gets out of line, another will give a warning. Sometimes a bump, sometimes a bite. They establish dominance, maintain feeding order, and ensure everyone gets a share. Cooperation without communication, Orvix bubbled thoughtfully. This is unusual. It gets more interesting, Dayun said. She brought up another hologram. This one showed several sharks hunting together, driving a school of fish toward shallow water. Some shark species hunt cooperatively. Thresher sharks, for example, use their tails as weapons. Watch. The hologram played. The thresher sharks had tails nearly as long as their bodies. As they approached a school of fish, the sharks swam in circles, using their long tails to create walls of movement. Then, suddenly, one shark whipped its tail forward like a whip. The tail moved so fast, it created a shockwave in the water. Fish were stunned or killed instantly. The other sharks ate the stunned fish, then repeated the process. Coordinated hunting with specialized attack methods, Daleks observed, using natural weapons with precision. This is sophisticated. Haiyan Wu nodded. Different species, different methods. Hammerheads sometimes hunt in groups, spreading out to cover more area. Their wide heads act as sensory nets. When one finds prey, the others respond. Bull sharks are known to coordinate attacks on larger prey. Even great whites, usually solitary hunters, have been observed working together when hunting large animals like whales or elephant seals. The hologram changed again. This time it showed something that made several delegates shift uncomfortably. A shark approached a cage in the water. Inside the cage, a human in diving equipment watched calmly. The shark circled the cage, investigating. Its nose bumped the bars. Its mouth opened slightly, showing rows of teeth. This is called a shark cage, Haiyan Wu explained. Humans use these to observe sharks safely. Note the shark's behavior. It is testing the cage, bumping it with its nose, which is one of the most sensitive parts of its body. The shark is gathering information. What is this object? Is it food? Is it a threat? Can I bite through it? The shark in the hologram bit the cage experimentally. Its teeth scraped against metal bars. The sound was terrible, a screech that made everyone in the chamber wince. Then the shark released the cage and swam away. The shark determined the cage was not food and not worth the effort, Dayun said. This is intelligence, problem solving, analysis of risk versus reward. You mentioned testing, Brett said, his mandibles clicking nervously. What does that mean? Haiyan Wu's expression became serious. Sharks test their prey before committing to a full attack. They circle, observe, and sometimes give what humans call a test bite. A quick bite to determine what the target is made of, how it reacts, whether it is worth eating. For humans, This is often the difference between a fatal attack and survival. If the shark determines humans are not its preferred prey, it may swim away after the test bite. And if it does not swim away? Urvix asked. Then it commits to the attack, Daeyun said bluntly. And human survival rates drop dramatically. A committed great white attack is overwhelming. Multiple bites, each one causing massive trauma. The shark circles back for repeated attacks until the prey stops moving. The hologram showed statistics now. Attack rates, survival rates, locations of incidents. Red dots marked attacks around the world's coastlines. There were hundreds of them. Humans have been recording shark attacks for over a century, Haiyan Wu said. Globally, there are about 80 unprovoked attacks per year. Of those, fewer than 10 are fatal. This is not because sharks are weak. It is because most attacks are test bites, and humans have developed medical treatments for shark injuries. But the fatal attacks, Marak said quietly. Tell us about those. Haiyan Wu was silent for a moment. Then he brought up another set of data. Fatal attacks usually occur when sharks mistake humans for seals or other prey. It happens most often with surfers, because from below, a human on a surfboard looks very similar to a seal. The shark attacks from below, reaches, bites. If it hits a major artery or causes enough trauma, the human dies before reaching shore. The hologram showed the silhouette comparison. A seal and a surfer, viewed from below. They were remarkably similar. The shark is not being malicious, Haiyan Wu continued. It is being a shark. It sees something that looks like food, acts like food, and is in an area where food usually is. So it attacks. When it realizes the mistake, it usually stops. But by then, the damage is done. Daeyun pulled up another image. This one showed a human with massive scarring on their leg. This person survived a great white attack. They required hundreds of stitches and multiple surgeries. But they survived. And 6 months later, they went back into the ocean. She looked around at the aliens. This is what it means to be from a death world. You do not let fear control you. You respect the danger, you take precautions, but you do not surrender your home to the predators that live there. Thalix stood from his seat, his scales glinting in the chamber's light. I must confess, the warrior said slowly, I am impressed. These sharks display tactical awareness, adaptive hunting strategies, and efficient violence. They would be formidable opponents. But you say humans swim with them voluntarily? Every day, Haiyan Wu confirmed. Millions of humans use the ocean for recreation, research, and food. We know sharks are there. We respect them. But we do not fear them so much that we stay away. Because if we did that, if we let one predator keep us from the ocean, then we would have to avoid the forests because of bears, the deserts because of snakes, the mountains because of cold. We would have nowhere to live. He gestured to the hologram, where a great white shark still swam through the projected ocean. Sharks have been hunting for 450 million years. They are perfect predators, designed by evolution to kill efficiently. And humans, who have only existed for a few 100,000 years, decided that we would share the ocean with them. That is what Deathworlders do. We do not run. We adapt. The chamber fell silent once more, and in that silence, understanding began to dawn on the assembled delegates. High Counselor Marak was the first to break the silence. His feathers had stopped ruffling, and he stood very still on his perch. When he spoke, his voice carried none of its earlier mockery. Ambassador Haiyan Wu, you have made your point effectively. Sharks are formidable predators. 450 million years of evolution has created something remarkable. But I must ask the question that troubles me most. He paused, his avian eyes fixed on the human. Why do your people swim with them? Surely, with your technology, You could clear the waters near your population centers, make the oceans safe. Haiyan Wu turned to face the avian delegate directly. High Counselor, may I ask you a question in return? Merrick tilted his head, a gesture of permission. You may. Your homeworld has metal seas heated to extreme temperatures. You have told us this makes your world harsh. Do your people ever enter those seas? Of course not, Merrick replied immediately. That would be suicide. We built our cities away from the metal seas. We avoid them entirely. And you, Diplomat Orvix, Haiyan Wu turned to the aquatic being. Your species evolved in crushing depths with acidic water. Do your people travel to those depths now that you have technology? Orvix's bioluminescence flickered thoughtfully. We study them remotely. Direct travel to the ancient depths is considered unnecessary and dangerous. Our civilization exists in the safer mid-depth zones. Ambassador Vreth, Haiyan Wu continued, addressing the insectoid. The Chitauri hive mind evolved in carefully controlled environments, yes? Your homeworld's ecosystem is managed and maintained? Vreth's mandibles clicked softly. Yes, the hive maintains optimal conditions across all territories. We eliminated the dangerous. Megafauna centuries ago. Why would we tolerate threats to the hive? Haiyan Wu nodded slowly, as if confirming something he already knew. This is the difference between your species and humanity. You evolved intelligence, developed technology, and used it to separate yourselves from danger. This is logical. This is safe. This is what most species do. He paused, and his expression became something else entirely. Pride mixed with a kind of wildness. Humans did the opposite. Dayun stepped forward, bringing up a new hologram. This one showed Earth again, but now it was marked with thousands of lights. Cities, towns, villages. The lights clustered along coastlines, near mountains, in valleys, on islands. Humans did not retreat from danger, she said. We built our civilizations in the most dangerous places on Earth, coastal cities where tsunamis strike, island nations in the path of hurricanes, mountain cities near active volcanoes. We built Tokyo on fault lines that cause devastating earthquakes. We built Venice in a lagoon that floods regularly. We built New Orleans below sea level, where hurricanes can drown the entire city. But why? Orvix's confusion was evident in his bubbling voice. Why not choose safer locations? Because the dangerous locations have advantages, Haiyan Wu explained. Coastal areas provide food from the ocean and trade routes. Volcanic soil is incredibly fertile for farming. River valleys flood, but they also provide water and transportation. Humans learned early in our history that avoiding all danger means avoiding all opportunity. So we learned to manage danger instead. He changed the hologram to show humans surfing. Dozens of them, riding waves in tropical waters. Surfing is a human sport thousands of years old. We stand on boards and ride ocean waves. We do this in waters where sharks hunt. We do this at dawn and dusk when sharks are most active. We do this knowing that to a shark, we look like seals from below. He looked around at the aliens. Does this seem insane to you? Several delegates nodded or made affirmative gestures. Vreth clicked emphatically. Yes, absolutely insane. Perhaps, Dayun agreed. But consider what it teaches us. When a human surfs at dawn, they are making a choice. They are saying that the joy of riding a wave, the thrill of the sport, the connection with the ocean is worth the risk of a shark encounter. They are calculating odds. Millions of people surf every year. Only a few dozen are attacked by sharks. The risk is real but small. The reward is immediate and personal. This is not just recreation, Haiyan Wu added. This is philosophy. This is how humans approach everything. We invented airplanes knowing they could crash. We went to space knowing we could die in the vacuum. We explored our deepest oceans knowing the pressure could crush our vessels. We climbed our highest mountains knowing we could freeze to death. Every advancement humans have made required someone to take a terrible risk. The hologram shifted to show human divers swimming with sharks. Not in cages, but free diving. Swimming alongside great whites, tiger sharks, hammerheads. The sharks moved around the humans calmly, investigating them with curiosity rather than aggression. These are shark researchers, Dayun explained. They study shark behavior by swimming with them. No cages, no weapons, just diving equipment and cameras. They have learned to read shark body language, to understand when a shark is calm or agitated. They know when to approach and when to retreat. Some of them have been doing this for decades, Haiyan-Wu continued. There is a human woman named Bu-O-Ra who has been diving with great whites for 40 years. She knows individual sharks by sight, has names for them, understands their personalities. The sharks recognize her too. They approach her calmly, allow her to observe them, even seem to enjoy her presence. Thalek stood again, his warrior instincts clearly engaged. This suggests the sharks can be domesticated? Trained? No, Haiyan-Wu said firmly. Sharks are not pets. They are not friendly. They are wild predators who tolerate certain humans under certain conditions. The relationship is based on respect, not control. Bechira succeeds because she respects the sharks completely. She never assumes they are safe. She never drops her guard. One wrong move, one moment of carelessness, and the shark might attack. She knows this. She accepts this. And she dives anyway. Why? Marak's voice was almost pleading now. Why take such risks for knowledge? Surely you could study them safely, from a distance? Dayun smiled slightly. We do study them from a distance. We use tags, we use cameras, we use sensors. But some questions can only be answered by being there, in the water, with the sharks. How do they react to human presence? How do they communicate with each other? How intelligent are they really? These questions require direct observation, and some humans are willing to risk their lives to find the answers. Haiyan-Wu brought up another image. This one showed a human child, perhaps 10 years old, swimming in a coastal pool. Human children learn to swim at young ages. Many of them learn in the ocean. They learn that the ocean is powerful, dangerous, and beautiful. They learn to respect it. They learn about riptides, about jellyfish, about sharks. And they learn to swim anyway. He looked at each delegate in turn. Because a human who is afraid of the ocean is a human who has surrendered. And humans do not surrender. This is madness, Dreth said, but his voice lacked conviction. Your species risks death for recreation, for knowledge, for the mere principle of not surrendering to your environment. Yes, Haiyan-Wu agreed simply. From your perspective, it is madness. But from our perspective, it is life. A life lived in fear is not worth living. A civilization that hides from danger does not grow. We learned this from Earth itself. The hologram changed one final time. Now it showed a montage of images. Humans climbing mountains. Humans diving into caves. Humans sailing through storms. Humans exploring volcanoes. Humans swimming with sharks. Earth tried to kill us, Dayun said softly. For millions of years, our ancestors faced predators stronger than them, faster than them, more numerous than them. We had no venom, no armor, no natural weapons. We were slow. We were weak. We should have died out. But we did not, Haiyan-Wu continued. We survived because we were smart. Because we adapted. Because we learned from every predator that tried to eat us. Lions taught us about pack tactics. Bears taught us about strength and territory. Snakes taught us about patience and precision. And sharks taught us about persistence, about evolutionary perfection, about being an apex predator. He gestured to the images still playing in the hologram. Every human who swims in the ocean knows that sharks are there. Every human who sails knows that storms can sink ships. Every human who flies knows that planes can crash. We know all of this. And we do it anyway. Because we are humans. And humans do not let fear control us. Dayun looked directly at High Counselor Merrick. You asked why we swim with sharks. The answer is simple. We swim with sharks because sharks have been in our oceans for 450 million years. And we decided 300,000 years ago that the oceans belong to us too. The sharks do not agree, so we made a compromise. They can try to eat us, and we can try to avoid them. Sometimes they win. Usually we win. But neither of us leaves. Neither of us surrenders. That is what it means to be from a death world. The chamber was silent. The hologram faded, leaving only the crystalline walls and the profound realization spreading through the assembled delegates. These humans were not weak. They were not soft. They were survivors of a world that had been trying to kill them since before most galactic civilizations existed. And they had not just survived. They had thrived. I believe, Thalix said slowly, that we may have underestimated humanity's qualifications for the coalition. I believe, Merak agreed quietly, that you may be correct. The Galactic Assembly Hall had been quiet for 3 minutes. 3 full minutes of silence, which in diplomatic terms felt like an eternity. The delegates sat at their stations, processing what they had witnessed. Some reviewed the data on their own displays. Others simply stared at the space where the shark holograms had been swimming moments before. Finally, High Counselor Merrick stood. His golden feathers were smoothed down now, his posture different from when the session had begun. Where there had been arrogance, there was now thoughtfulness. Where there had been dismissal, there was now consideration. The council will recess for 1 standard hour, he announced. We will reconvene to discuss humanity's application after we have had time to review the information presented. Haiyan Wu and Dayun bowed politely. They returned to their seats and waited as the other delegates filed out of the chamber. When they were alone, Dayun allowed herself a small smile. That went well. Better than expected, Haiyan Wu agreed. Though I think we may have frightened them. Good, Dayun replied. Fear breeds respect. Respect is what we need. An hour later, the delegates returned. But this time, there was a new presence in the chamber. A figure that had not been there before sat in the highest observation platform. It was difficult to make out details from the distance, but the figure radiated age and authority. A heavy feeling filled the room, as if gravity itself had increased slightly. The silent observer has joined us. Ervix bubbled quietly to his aid. This is unprecedented. The silent observer was a legend among galactic civilizations. A being so old that no one remembered its species' name. It attended council sessions perhaps once every 100 years, and only for matters of extreme importance. It never spoke, never voted, never interfered. It simply watched. Until now. High Counselor Merrick noticed the observer's presence, and his feathers ruffled with obvious nervousness. But he continued with the session. The council has reviewed the information presented by the human delegation. We have also conducted our own research into Earth's classification and history. We find that we may have been, he paused, choosing his words carefully, incomplete in our initial assessment. Ambassador Vreth stood, and his body language was completely different from before. No dismissive gestures, no clicking laughter. The Chitauri Hive acknowledges that we underestimated Earth's danger level. Our records show that Earth's oceans alone contain more apex predator species than exist on all Chitauri territories combined. This is remarkable and concerning. Our military analysts have reviewed the shark data, Thalix added. The ambush tactics, the sensory capabilities, the persistent hunting behavior. These are characteristics we would classify as threat level 7 in our combat assessments. The fact that humans encounter these creatures regularly and treat it as normal is highly significant. Urvix's bioluminescence pulsed thoughtfully. My people have studied Earth's ocean pressures and conditions. While not as extreme as our ancient depths, the variety of environments is unprecedented. Tropical reefs, Arctic waters, abyssal plains, coastal shallows. Each environment has its own predators, its own dangers. And humans have explored all of them. Haiyan Wu remained seated, his expression neutral. But inside, he felt a surge of satisfaction. They were beginning to understand. Finally, Merrick continued. However, this raises new questions. The human delegation has shown us that sharks are formidable predators. But Earth has more than sharks, does it not? What else lives on this death world? Dayun stood and activated the holographic display again. High Counselor, sharks are just one example. Earth has thousands of predator species. We have lions, tigers, bears, wolves, crocodiles, alligators, leopards, jaguars, hyenas, wild dogs, and poisonous snakes. We have venomous spiders, scorpions, jellyfish, and octopi. We have parasites that live inside us, bacteria that can kill us in days, viruses that spread through populations like wildfire. The hologram showed images of each creature as she named them. The aliens watched with growing alarm. Our oceans have not only sharks, but also killer whales, which hunt in packs using complex strategies. We have saltwater crocodiles that can grow to 6 meters and bite with forces exceeding 34,000 newtons. We have box jellyfish with venom potent enough to kill a human in minutes. We have stonefish that look like rocks and inject venom through spines on their backs. Haiyan Wu took over. On land, we have brown bears that can weigh 600 kilograms and run at 40 kilometers per hour. We have polar bears that hunt on ice and can swim for days. We have big cats like tigers and lions that are ambush predators with bite forces and claws designed to kill prey much larger than themselves. We have hippopotamuses that kill more humans annually than any large predator. We have mosquitoes that spread diseases that have killed more humans than all wars in our history combined. But the environment itself is also deadly, Dayun continued. Earth has weather systems that generate winds exceeding 300 kilometers per hour. Hurricanes, typhoons, tornadoes. We have earthquakes that can level cities. We have volcanoes that can bury entire regions in ash. We have wildfires that burn millions of hectares. We have floods, droughts, blizzards, and heat waves. Earth tries to kill us with water, fire, earth, and air. Vref's mandibles clicked rapidly, a sign of stress. And humans live through all of this? How? Adaptation, Haiyan Wu said simply. We build earthquake-resistant buildings. We develop hurricane warning systems. We create vaccines for diseases. We study predator behavior and learn to avoid or defend against them. We do not conquer nature. We learn to live with it. A new voice entered the conversation. It was deep, resonant, and ancient. Everyone in the chamber turned toward the observation platform. The silent observer had spoken. You say you live with nature, but you also hunt these predators, do you not? Haiyan Wu felt the weight of that voice in his chest. He bowed respectfully toward the observer before answering. Yes, honored observer. Humans hunt. We hunted to survive when we were weak. Now we hunt to manage populations, to protect ourselves, and sometimes for sport. But we also protect. Many predator species are endangered because we hunted them too effectively. Now we have laws to preserve them. We create sanctuaries. We study them. We recognize that predators are part of Earth's ecosystem, and removing them entirely would damage the planet. You fear them and protect them simultaneously, the observer noted. Contradiction. Not contradiction, Dae-Yoon replied. Balance. We learned that a world without predators is a world out of balance. Predators control prey populations. They keep ecosystems healthy. Remove the wolves and the deer overpopulate and destroy forests. Remove the sharks and the ocean's food chain collapses. We fear predators because they can kill us. We protect them because we need them. The observer was silent for a long moment. Then it spoke again. I have witnessed many civilizations rise and fall. Most species, upon achieving intelligence and technology, separate themselves from their homeworld's dangers. They create safe environments, controlled conditions. They eliminate threats. It paused. This creates weakness. Species that never face danger lose the ability to handle it. They become fragile, unable to adapt to new threats. The observer shifted slightly, and its movement suggested great age. Humanity is different. You remain connected to your death world. You accept its dangers as part of life. You teach your children to swim in dangerous waters, to respect predators, to handle fear. This creates strength, resilience, adaptability. Another pause. The galaxy needs such species. High Counselor Marak's feathers were completely smooth now, a sign of respect and attention. Honored observer, are you suggesting we approve humanity's application? I am suggesting, the observer replied, that denying their application would be foolish. A species that survives alongside sharks, that builds civilizations on tectonic fault lines, that explores their own planet despite its many dangers, will be valuable allies. They understand risk. They understand adaptation. They understand survival at the deepest level. The observer's attention turned back to Hyen Wu and Dae-Yoon. Tell me, humans, what is your military capable of? What weapons have you developed on this death world? Dae-Yoon brought up military data. We have projectile weapons that can fire rounds at supersonic speeds. We have explosives that can level buildings. We have chemical weapons, biological weapons, and nuclear weapons that can destroy entire cities. We have aircraft that travel faster than sound. We have submarines that can operate in crushing ocean depths for months. We have satellite networks that monitor the entire planet. And we have soldiers who train in environments that would kill most species. Your special forces, Thalix interjected, his warrior instincts engaged. How do they train? In the environments that taught us, Hyen Wu answered. Our soldiers train in jungles where venomous creatures live. They train in deserts with extreme temperatures. They train in mountains with thin air and freezing conditions. They train in oceans where sharks patrol. They learn to survive with minimal equipment in hostile conditions. They learn to adapt to any environment because Earth taught us that any environment can kill you. And your tactics? Thalix pressed. Your combat doctrine? Based on thousands of years of warfare, Dae-Yoon replied. Humans have been fighting each other since we developed tools. We learned strategy, logistics, combined arms tactics, guerrilla warfare, siege warfare, naval combat, air superiority, and asymmetric warfare. We learned from every conflict. Every loss taught us. Every victory taught us. We study war the way we study sharks, with respect and thoroughness. The observer made a sound that might have been approval. You are warriors born of a warrior world. You will fit well in the coalition. But know this, humans. The galaxy is vast. There are threats beyond your current understanding. Enemies that make your sharks seem harmless. Are you prepared for that? Hyen Wu stood and bowed deeply. Honored observer, Earth has been preparing us for threats our entire existence. Every predator we survived taught us a lesson. Every natural disaster we endured made us stronger. Every challenge we faced, we overcame. We do not know what the galaxy holds, but we know how to learn, how to adapt, and how to survive. If there are greater threats out there, then we will face them the same way we faced sharks. With respect, with courage, and with determination. Dune stood beside him. We are humans. We are from a death world. We do not run from danger. We run toward it, learn from it, and master it. Whatever the galaxy throws at us, we will handle it. Because that is what Deathworlders do. The chamber was silent. Then, slowly, High Counselor Merrick stood. The Galactic Council votes on humanity's application to join the military coalition. He looked at each delegate in turn. All in favor? Every delegate raised their hand, appendage, or glowed with approval. Unanimous. The vote is unanimous, Merrick announced. Humanity is accepted into the Galactic Military Coalition. Welcome,